What if one of the biggest engagement ring traditions in the world is quietly changing? For generations, ruby has symbolized passion, love, and lifelong commitment. But behind the scenes, gemologists, collectors, and an increasing number of modern couples are turning their attention to a very different group of red gemstones. Some were once mistaken for royal rubies. One was rejected by miners before becoming a collector's prize. Another is so extraordinarily rare that most jewelers will never see one in person. And the gemstone ranked number one possesses a natural phenomenon so astonishing that it challenges everything most people expect from a red gemstone. This isn't a countdown about replacing ruby. It's the story of why more couples are beginning to look beyond it. Let's begin. Number 10. Rhodolite garnet. For generations, ruby has been the gemstone most closely associated with passion, romance, and commitment. Yet a quiet shift is taking place in the engagement ring market. More couples are looking beyond tradition, searching for gemstones that reflect not only beauty, but also transparency, value, and responsible sourcing. One of the first names to emerge in that search is rhodolite garnet. At first glance, rhodolite garnet surprises many people. Instead of ruby's intense crimson red, it displays a sophisticated blend of raspberry red, rose, and subtle violet tones. The result is a softer, more contemporary appearance that changes gracefully under different lighting conditions, giving each stone a distinctive personality rather than a uniform look. Rhodolite is a variety of garnet formed through natural geological processes over hundreds of millions of years. Significant deposits are found in countries including Tanzania, Mozambique, Sri Lanka, India, and parts of the United States. Because garnets are mined in numerous regions around the world, instead of relying on a single dominant source, jewelers often have greater flexibility in selecting stones from suppliers with transparent sourcing practices and documented supply chains. As with any gemstone, responsible sourcing depends on the individual mine, exporter, and retailer rather than the gemstone species itself. This growing availability has made rhodolite garnet increasingly attractive to couples who want to ask more questions about where their engagement ring originated before making one of life's most meaningful purchases. Its appeal extends beyond ethics alone. Rhodolite garnet offers excellent brilliance thanks to its high refractive properties, producing lively flashes of light that stand out in both natural daylight and evening settings. It also provides a rich red appearance without closely imitating ruby, allowing the stone to establish its own identity instead of serving as a simple substitute. Durability is another advantage. With a hardness of approximately 7 to 7.5 on the Mohs scale, rhodolite garnet is suitable for engagement rings when set with appropriate protection and cared for properly during everyday wear. Perhaps the greatest reason behind its growing popularity is the story it represents. Rather than following centuries of tradition simply because tradition exists, more couples are choosing gemstones that reflect personal values, thoughtful research, and informed decisions. In that changing landscape, rhodolite garnet has quietly become one of the most compelling, ethical-inspired alternatives to the classic ruby, proving that a meaningful engagement ring does not have to follow the most familiar path. Number 9. Red zircon. Few gemstones have suffered from a greater case of mistaken identity than red zircon. For decades, many consumers have confused natural zircon with inexpensive synthetic cubic zirconia, even though the two are entirely different materials. That misunderstanding has caused one of nature's oldest and most fascinating gemstones to remain largely overlooked, despite offering remarkable beauty and a growing appeal among couples seeking alternatives to ruby. Natural zircon is among the oldest minerals ever discovered on Earth. Some zircon crystals have been dated to more than 4.3 billion years old, preserving evidence from the earliest chapters of our planet's history. While red zircon used in fine jewelry is much younger than those famous ancient crystals, every faceted gemstone still represents an extraordinary geological journey that spans millions of years beneath the Earth's surface. Today, some of the world's finest gem-quality red zircon is produced in Cambodia, particularly from deposits long respected within the international gemstone trade. Additional sources include Sri Lanka, Australia, and Myanmar. Because zircon is mined in multiple regions rather than relying on a single dominant producer, buyers often have more opportunities to choose gemstones supplied through transparent and responsibly managed supply chains. As with any gemstone, however, ethical sourcing depends on the specific mine, cutting facility, exporter, and retailer, not the gemstone itself. Visually, red zircon offers a character unlike ruby. Its rich reddish-brown to deep crimson hues are enhanced by exceptional brilliance and one of the highest refractive indices found among natural gemstones. When expertly cut, the stone produces vivid flashes of light that create an eye-catching sparkle rarely expected from a gem that remains unfamiliar to many engagement ring shoppers. Its rarity in mainstream jewelry also adds to its appeal. Rather than choosing a gemstone seen in countless display cases, some couples are drawn to red zircon because it feels distinctive, personal, and rooted in natural history instead of convention. With a hardness of approximately 6 to 7.5 on the Mohs scale, depending on the material's condition, red zircon is best suited to engagement rings designed with protective settings and worn with appropriate care. For many modern couples, that small compromise is outweighed by the opportunity to own a natural gemstone whose story reaches back to Earth's earliest history while reflecting thoughtful choices about beauty, individuality, and responsible sourcing. Number 8. Rubellite tourmaline. Not every remarkable red gemstone has spent centuries in royal crowns or museum collections. Some have earned their reputation much more recently, capturing attention through their extraordinary color rather than historical prestige. Among them, Rubellite tourmaline has become one of the most sought-after alternatives for couples who want an engagement ring that stands apart from the traditional ruby. Unlike many red gemstones that appear darker indoors or lose their intensity under changing light, true Rubellite is prized for retaining its vibrant color in a wide range of lighting conditions. Its hues range from rich raspberry and crimson to vivid pinkish red, often displaying remarkable depth and saturation that give each gemstone its own unique personality. No two stones are exactly alike, making individuality one of Rubellite's greatest strengths. Rubellite is the red to reddish-pink variety of the mineral tourmaline, a gemstone family celebrated for its exceptional diversity of colors. Important deposits are found in Brazil, Mozambique, Nigeria, Afghanistan, and Madagascar, with Brazil historically producing some of the finest gem-quality specimens. Because tourmaline is mined across several countries rather than depending on a single global source, responsible buyers can often work with jewelers who provide greater transparency regarding origin and supply chains. As with every gemstone, however, ethical sourcing depends on the practices of individual mines, exporters, cutters, and retailers, not on the gemstone variety itself. Beyond its beauty, Rubellite represents a different philosophy of luxury. Instead of choosing the gemstone most people expect, many couples are selecting stones that feel more personal and less conventional. That shift reflects a growing preference for engagement rings that tell an individual story rather than simply following long-established traditions. Rubellite also offers practical advantages. With a hardness of approximately 7 to 7.5 on the Mohs scale, it is suitable for engagement rings when mounted in well-designed settings and cared for appropriately. Its strong color, impressive brilliance, and availability in larger sizes also give jewelry designers greater creative freedom than many rarer red gemstones. Perhaps most importantly, Rubellite encourages a broader conversation about what truly defines value. Is it the gemstone with the most famous name, or the one that best reflects the people wearing it? As more couples prioritize authenticity, transparency, and personal meaning over convention alone, Rubellite tourmaline continues to gain recognition as a distinctive and thoughtfully chosen alternative to ruby. Number 7. Red spinel. For centuries, some of history's most celebrated rubies were not rubies at all. They were red spinels, a remarkable gemstone that spent generations hidden behind one of the greatest cases of mistaken identity in the history of jewelry. Long before modern gemology existed, spinel's vivid crimson color made it nearly impossible to distinguish from ruby with the naked eye. As a result, countless royal treasures were cataloged as rubies until scientific testing revealed a very different story. Perhaps the most famous example is the Black Prince's ruby in the British imperial state crown, a gemstone that has survived medieval battles, royal successions, and centuries of history, yet is actually a magnificent red spinel. That remarkable history has transformed spinel from an overlooked gemstone into one of the most respected choices among collectors and gem enthusiasts. Today, more couples are discovering that the same qualities which once caused spinel to be mistaken for ruby are precisely what make it such a compelling engagement stone in its own right. Fine red spinel is found in several regions, including Tanzania, Tajikistan, Vietnam, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka. Because production comes from multiple countries rather than a single dominant source, buyers often have more opportunities to work with jewelers who can provide information about origin and supply chains. As with any gemstone, however, responsible sourcing depends on the individual mine, exporter, cutter, and retailer rather than the gemstone species itself. Visually, red spinel offers exceptional brilliance and a naturally vibrant red that ranges from bright scarlet to rich crimson. Unlike many gemstones, spinel is typically valued without routine treatments that are common in parts of the colored gemstone trade. While untreated status should never be assumed for every individual stone, the availability of fine untreated spinel has contributed to its growing reputation among informed buyers seeking greater transparency. Its durability also makes it well-suited to everyday jewelry. With a hardness of 8 on the Mohs scale, red spinel is more resistant to scratching than many other colored gemstones commonly used in engagement rings, offering an excellent balance of beauty and practicality. Perhaps the greatest appeal of red spinel lies in its identity. It no longer stands in ruby's shadow or serves as a historical mistake waiting to be corrected. Instead, it has earned recognition on its own merits. A gemstone with a royal past, remarkable natural beauty, and a story that reflects how knowledge can completely change the way something is valued. For couples looking beyond tradition, red spinel has become one of the most convincing alternatives to ruby, combining timeless elegance with a growing appreciation for informed and responsible choices. Number 6, Pyrope garnet. Long before ruby became the gemstone most closely associated with love and commitment, another deep red stone was already captivating civilizations across Europe and Asia. Pyrope garnet, known for its rich crimson glow, has adorned jewelry for centuries, proving that extraordinary beauty has never belonged to a single gemstone. Its name comes from the Greek words meaning fire-eyed, a fitting description for a gemstone whose intense red color seems to glow from within. Unlike brighter scarlet stones, Pyrope often displays a deep, velvety crimson with subtle hints of burgundy, giving it a classic elegance that many modern couples find both timeless and distinctive. Pyrope is one of the oldest and most historically significant members of the garnet family. It has been recovered from important deposits in the Czech Republic, South Africa, Tanzania, the United States, Mozambique, and several other regions. The famous Bohemian garnets of Central Europe, treasured since the Middle Ages, are among the best-known examples of pyrope and helped establish its reputation as a gemstone worthy of fine jewelry long before modern engagement ring traditions emerged. Because pyrope is mined in multiple countries rather than depending on a single global source, buyers often have greater flexibility when seeking gemstones from suppliers that emphasize transparent sourcing practices and traceable supply chains. However, as with every colored gemstone, responsible sourcing ultimately depends on the standards followed by individual mines, exporters, manufacturers, and retailers, not on the gemstone variety itself. One of pyrope's greatest strengths is its authenticity. It does not attempt to imitate ruby or compete through rarity alone. Instead, it offers a naturally rich red appearance that has remained admired for generations while often being available at a more accessible price point. That combination allows couples to choose a gemstone for its own history and character rather than because it resembles something else. With a hardness of approximately 7 to 7.5 on the Mohs scale, pyrope is suitable for engagement rings when mounted in protective settings and worn with reasonable care. Its durability, combined with its enduring color and excellent polish, has helped it remain a trusted choice for jewelry that is meant to be worn and appreciated every day. As more couples move away from choosing gemstones solely because tradition tells them to, Pyrope, garnet offers a reminder that meaningful symbols of commitment have existed in many forms throughout history. Sometimes, the most enduring choice is not the one that became the most famous, but the one whose quiet legacy has already stood the test of time. Number 5. Almandine garnet. Not every engagement gemstone needs to be rare to be meaningful. In fact, some of the most enduring symbols of love have remained popular for centuries, not because they were the most expensive, but because they combined lasting beauty with remarkable resilience. That legacy has helped Almandine garnet become one of the world's most recognizable and often underestimated red gemstones. Known for its deep wine red to reddish-brown tones, Almandine offers a richness that feels refined rather than flashy. Under natural light, well-cut stones can display flashes of crimson and burgundy that give the gemstone impressive depth. Its darker appearance also creates an elegant contrast in both yellow and white precious metals, making it a favorite for timeless jewelry designs that never feel tied to passing trends. Almandine is the most abundant member of the garnet family, but abundance should never be mistaken for ordinary. Large, transparent crystals, suitable for fine jewelry, still require the right geological conditions, careful cutting, and skilled craftsmanship to reveal their full beauty. Significant deposits are found in India, Sri Lanka, Brazil, Madagascar, Tanzania, Mozambique, and the United States, creating a geographically diverse supply that allows jewelers to source stones from a variety of regions. As with every gemstone, ethical considerations depend on the practices of individual mines, exporters, cutters, and retailers rather than the gemstone species itself. Its long history also adds to its appeal. Almandine garnets have been discovered in jewelry dating back thousands of years, appearing in artifacts from ancient Rome, medieval Europe, and numerous archaeological sites across Asia. Their enduring presence demonstrates that deep red gemstones have symbolized devotion and prestige long before modern engagement ring traditions centered almost exclusively on ruby or diamond. For couples who value thoughtful purchasing decisions, Almandine represents an opportunity to choose a gemstone with genuine historical significance while exploring suppliers that emphasize transparent sourcing and responsible business practices. Rather than paying primarily for a famous name, many buyers appreciate the chance to invest in craftsmanship, design, and the story behind the stone itself. With a hardness of approximately 7 to 7.5 on the Mohs scale, Almandine garnet is well suited to engagement rings when protected by a quality setting and maintained with appropriate care. Its combination of durability, rich color, and centuries of proven use in fine jewelry explains why this classic gemstone continues to earn renewed attention from couples seeking beauty, authenticity, and a more personal path to one of life's most meaningful symbols. Number 4. Red beryl. If rarity alone determined value, red beryl would stand among the most extraordinary gemstones on Earth. Far less familiar than ruby, yet dramatically rarer, this remarkable mineral has become one of the most elusive treasures in the colored gemstone world. For couples searching for an engagement ring, unlike almost anything else, red beryl offers a story that begins in one of the most unexpected places imaginable. Unlike many famous gemstones that are mined across several continents, gem-quality red beryl has an exceptionally limited natural distribution. The finest crystals have been found primarily in the Wawa Mountains of Utah, United States, where a unique combination of volcanic activity, mineral-rich fluids, and highly unusual geological conditions allowed this gemstone to form millions of years ago. Those conditions are so specific that comparable deposits have remained extraordinarily rare elsewhere in the world. Its vivid raspberry red to crimson color immediately draws comparisons with ruby, yet red beryl belongs to an entirely different mineral family. It is the rare red variety of beryl, the same mineral species that includes emerald, aquamarine, and morganite. Despite sharing a family with those famous gemstones, red beryl occupies a category of rarity all its own, making fine transparent specimens highly prized by collectors and gem enthusiasts. Because commercial production is extremely limited, red beryl has never become a mainstream engagement stone. Instead, it appeals to buyers who place exceptional value on exclusivity and geological significance. For those seeking greater transparency regarding origin, its highly concentrated source can also make provenance easier to understand through reputable jewelers who provide documentation about individual stones. Nevertheless, responsible sourcing should always be evaluated based on the practices of the specific mine, supplier, and retailer rather than the gemstone species itself. With a hardness of approximately 7.5 to 8 on the Mohs scale, red beryl offers durability suitable for engagement jewelry when mounted in a protective setting and worn with appropriate care. However, because high-quality stones are both rare and valuable, many owners choose settings designed to minimize the risk of accidental damage during everyday wear. What truly sets red beryl apart is not simply its scarcity, but the remarkable geological coincidence required for its existence. Millions of years of volcanic history, unique chemistry, and extraordinary natural conditions combine to create a gemstone found in only a handful of locations. In a world where many engagement rings follow familiar traditions, red beryl represents something profoundly different, a commitment symbolized by one of nature's rarest works, chosen not for convention, but for the extraordinary story locked within every crystal. Number 3, the Mahenge spinel. When a new gemstone discovery transforms an entire segment of the jewelry industry, it becomes more than a beautiful mineral. It becomes part of modern gemological history. That is exactly what happened with Mahenge spinel, a gemstone whose extraordinary color and remarkable clarity have made it one of the most coveted alternatives to ruby in the 21st century. The story began in 2007 when miners in the Mahenge region of central Tanzania uncovered deposits of vivid spinel, unlike anything the market had seen before. Instead of the darker reds commonly associated with traditional spinel, these newly discovered gems displayed exceptionally bright shades ranging from vibrant pinkish red to intense neon red. Their brilliance immediately attracted the attention of gem dealers, collectors, and leading jewelry houses around the world. Unlike many gemstones that gradually earn recognition over centuries, Mahenge spinel rose to international prominence within just a few years. Demand increased rapidly as buyers recognized that these stones combine striking color with excellent transparency and outstanding brilliance. Their growing reputation was driven not by marketing campaigns alone, but by the gemstone's own visual impact and the limited availability of high-quality material. Tanzania remains the defining source of Mahenge spinel, and its discovery brought renewed global attention to the country's remarkable gemstone resources. For buyers interested in understanding where their gemstone originated, working with reputable jewelers who can provide information about provenance and supply chains has become increasingly important. As with every color gemstone, however, responsible sourcing depends on the individual mine, exporter, cutter, and retailer, rather than the gemstone variety itself. Mahenge spinel also offers impressive durability for fine jewelry. With a hardness of 8 on the Mohs scale, it is well suited for engagement rings designed for everyday wear, providing an attractive balance between beauty and practicality. Unlike gemstones that rely on dramatic visual effects, Mahenge spinel captivates through the natural intensity of its color and exceptional optical performance. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of Mahenge spinel is what it represents. It is not a gemstone defined by centuries of royal tradition or ancient mythology. Instead, it reflects a new chapter in the world of fine gemstones, one shaped by recent discovery, informed consumers, and a growing appreciation for exceptional gems beyond the most familiar names. As more couples look for engagement rings that combine individuality, responsible purchasing, and remarkable natural beauty, Mahenge spinel has emerged as one of the strongest modern alternatives to ruby, proving that some of Earth's greatest treasures are still waiting to be discovered. Number 2. Malaya garnet. Some of the world's most remarkable gemstones were never meant to become famous. In fact, one of today's most intriguing alternatives to ruby was once dismissed as a mining mistake. That unexpected beginning makes Malaya garnet one of the most fascinating stories in modern gemology, and one of the most distinctive choices for couples seeking an engagement ring with genuine character. The story begins in the late 1960s in the border region between Tanzania and Kenya. While searching for valuable rhodolite garnets, miners repeatedly uncovered crystals that didn't fit any known commercial category. They were neither the deep red garnets buyers expected, nor the bright orange varieties already recognized in the trade. Believing the stones had little market value, many miners simply set them aside. Local miners referred to these unusual gems as Malaya, a word derived from the Swahili term meaning outcast, or one that doesn't belong. It was a name born from uncertainty rather than admiration. Ironically, the very qualities that caused the gemstone to be rejected would later become the reason collectors and jewelers sought it around the world. Malaya garnet displays an extraordinary range of colors, from warm reddish-orange and rose-red to vibrant pinkish red, often with subtle flashes of peach or copper depending on the lighting. This natural complexity gives each gemstone an individuality rarely found in more uniform-colored gems. Rather than trying to resemble ruby, Malaya garnet stands apart with a color palette entirely its own. Its primary sources remain Tanzania and Kenya, where the gemstone was first discovered. Because production comes from a limited number of mining districts, provenance has become an increasingly important consideration for buyers. Reputable jewelers are often able to provide greater transparency regarding origin and supply chains. Although, as with every gemstone, responsible sourcing depends on the practices of the individual mine, exporter, cutter, and retailer, not the gemstone species itself. With a hardness of approximately 7 to 7.5 on the Mohs scale, Malaya garnet is well suited to engagement rings when mounted in protective settings and cared for appropriately. Its durability, combined with its exceptional brilliance and uncommon color, has made it increasingly attractive to couples searching for something distinctive yet practical. Perhaps no other gemstone on this list better illustrates how perceptions can change over time. Once overlooked because it didn't fit established expectations, Malaya garnet is now celebrated precisely for its originality. Its journey from rejected crystal to highly prized gemstone mirrors a broader shift in the engagement ring world, where individuality, thoughtful sourcing, and personal meaning are becoming just as important as tradition itself. Number 1. Color change garnet. The most remarkable alternative to ruby doesn't always reveal its true identity at first glance. In fact, under one light source it may appear deep crimson or raspberry red, yet moments later, under different lighting, it transforms into shades of greenish brown, purplish red, or even subtle violet. Few natural gemstones demonstrate such an extraordinary optical phenomenon. That rare ability has made color change garnet one of the most captivating choices for couples seeking an engagement ring that reflects both individuality and the wonders of nature. Unlike gemstones that owe their fame to centuries of royal tradition, color change garnet earned its reputation through science. Its dramatic shift in color is caused by the gemstone's unique chemical composition and the way it selectively absorbs different wavelengths of light. Rather than being enhanced by coatings or special treatments, the effect occurs naturally within the crystal itself, making every genuine specimen a remarkable product of Earth's geological processes. Fine examples are found primarily in Madagascar and Tanzania, with smaller quantities reported from a handful of other localities. High-quality material remains uncommon, and gemstones displaying a strong, obvious color change are especially sought after by collectors. Because production comes from relatively limited deposits, buyers interested in understanding the origin of their gemstone often work with reputable jewelers who provide information about provenance and supply chains. As with every gemstone featured in this countdown, responsible sourcing depends on the practices of the individual mine, exporter, cutter, and retailer, rather than the gemstone variety itself. Beyond its rarity, color change garnet offers exceptional symbolism for an engagement ring. A lasting relationship is built on growth, resilience, and the ability to adapt through changing circumstances. A gemstone that naturally changes its appearance while remaining the same crystal beneath the surface reflects that idea in a way few other gems can. With a hardness of approximately 7 to 7.5 on the Mohs scale, color change garnet is suitable for engagement jewelry when mounted in a well-designed protective setting and cared for properly. Its durability, combined with its remarkable optical properties, allows it to be both a conversation piece and a meaningful symbol of commitment. Perhaps the greatest reason more couples are looking beyond ruby is that today's engagement rings are becoming expressions of personal values rather than simply inherited traditions. Some prioritize distinctive beauty, others seek greater transparency about where their gemstone comes from. Many simply want a ring that tells a story unlike anyone else's. Color change garnet brings all of those qualities together. It is rare without relying on reputation, beautiful without following convention, and unforgettable because it constantly reminds its owner that nature still holds surprises beyond the world's most famous gemstones. In a new generation of engagement rings shaped by individuality, informed choices, and appreciation for Earth's extraordinary diversity, color change garnet stands as the most compelling finale to this countdown. From centuries of history to remarkable geological discoveries, these gemstones prove that ruby isn't the only extraordinary symbol of love. Which one would you choose for an engagement ring? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more fascinating stories about the world's rarest gemstones. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next discovery.